Alright, what's up guys, come back an overview, it's Badmark here. Today we're gonna do an overview about the Einherjar. It's a North mythical unit, okay, so we're gonna do an overview, talk about its lore, what is the Einherjar, what's the mythology behind them, then we're gonna talk about its strategy a bit, and then we're gonna end the video. So before we start, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and tell me in the comments down below if you want to see more overviews about myth units, and if you're enjoying them, okay, or if they are too boring to hear, alright, let me know in the comments down below. But right now, let's start with the mythology. So the Einherjar, where is the Einherjar? The Einherjar is actually dead heroes gathered by Valkyries and brought to Asgard. So Asgard is a realm in the Norse mythology, and this is where the gods live. Alright, so Odin, he lives in Asgard, Thor, he lives in Asgard. So the Einherjars are dead heroes from the world, gathered from Valkyries. I'm gonna do a video about Valkyries, explaining what is a Valkyrie. You probably researched that or you know some stuff about it, but we're gonna focus about Valkyries in Age of Mythology only. Same for the Einherjars. They were brought by Valkyries, dead heroes brought to Asgard. And we should actually note that these Valkyries chose only the most heroic warriors in the battlefield, and they brought them back to Asgard. So if you're a bad hero, you're not an Einherjar. Alright, so the Einherjars also battled all day with any wounds being magically healed. Alright, so probably the gods, Odin, Thor, or wherever the god responsible for healing in the Norse mythology was healing these Einherjars whenever they're in battle. Okay, and they prepared endlessly for the time when Odin called for them to fight with the gods at Ragnarok. If you've never heard about Ragnarok, Ragnarok is the day when everything went to shit, alright, in Norse mythology. So the gods fought each other and it was actually the end of the world. So this is Ragnarok, and this is it for the Einherjar. But let's talk about Heimdall, which is the god that grants you Einherjar, and why Heimdall is actually connected to Einherjar, and why the developers chose Einherjar to be representing Heimdall. Okay, so who is Heimdall? Heimdall is I think I'm pronouncing his name right. Okay, Heimdall. Heimdall is a North god, is a sub-god, and he sat beside the entrance of the Rainbow Bridge, keeping watch for giants or other monsters trying to gain entrance to the fortress of the gods. So he was actually a god who was protecting Asgard, who was protecting the fortress where Odin lived, alright? And he needed very little sleep and was so perceptive that he could detect the sound of grass growing in the earth or wool growing on a sheep's back. So he was so focused that he could hear literally anything. Alright, and also the legends say he could see 100 miles, so he has a great vision and a great sense of hearing, you can say. And also he carried a horn. Its name is Jal. Alright, I'm gonna have it on the screen right now. So this horn actually was used to warn the gods when Ragnarok began. So during Ragnarok, he used this horn to warn the gods that Ragnarok was happening, and this is why I guess Einherjar has horns, so it's of course connected. Alright guys, this is why Einherjar has horns, and he boosts the morale of units in game, because Heimdall is actually like him. Alright, and actually Heimdall was the last god, one of the last gods who fell in Ragnarok in a single combat with Loki. Okay, so this is it for the mythology of Heimdall and the Einherjar. So it makes really sense to be connecting this sub-god to this unit, and it's freaking awesome. Alright, I love the lore behind Einherjar. For the scientific name of Einherjar, it's Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens, I guess, is a native or primitive type of humans, I guess. So it makes sense for a scientific name. His size is about 7 feet tall, so the size of a normal human. And the diet, alright, copious amount of human food, especially boar meat. So because it's a dead hero, so heroes were humans, of course, and it's a dead one revived, brought to Asgard. So this is why they eat normal food like humans. And I saw someone saying that the Einherjars were a weapon used against Loki. So why Loki have access to them? Why can you advance through Heimdall and get the Einherjar? Well, I guess because it makes sense to not have the Valkyrie available for Loki. What should we do? Get only Troll to be accessed by Loki? I think if we're gonna choose between the Einherjar and the Valkyrie, of course we're not gonna be giving Loki access to the Valkyries, because Valkyries are very close to Asgard and the gods. Okay, so they are anti-Loki. So I think it makes sense to have Einherjar for Loki more than having Valkyries for Loki. Or probably they just put him just for balance purposes, probably. but we have a lot of ideas here, okay? So, but I guess the real reason why is because Einherjars, they look, you know, scary, and they look evil, and Loki is evil in Norse mythology, and we don't want to have Valkyries with Loki, of course. So I think this answers the question, but let me know in the comments down below your thoughts about this. And for the strategy of the Einherjar, probably you know what he does in combat. The Einherjar has an average attack compared to other myth units, though their high armor makes them a bit hard to kill. Like some other myth units, they have a decent crush attack, so he can be used to destroy buildings. They come into their own when they are in a group because their moral boosting special ability becomes useful. If the group has several Einherjars, the attack boost can be sustained even longer. Loki players who worship Heimdall, then Bragi, can combine the Einherjar moral boost with the flaming weapons, God power. So the God power, when you just toggle it, you can have all the units have flaming weapons. So I love this one. And if you combine it with Einherjar plus the moral boost he can do to units, you're gonna be having an amazing fight. Okay, your army is gonna be unbeatable literally if you combine these two. So if you don't know about this combination, here you have it, guys. The cons of Einherjars are that the Einherjars are very slow, so the units around Einherjar can actually flee away if he's alone, and he's not strong alone, Einherjar, so just use him when you have a big army. And the special attack is useless with no friendly units, so don't use him alone. As I said, he's a bad unit alone, so you have to use him with an army. Alright, fighting solo, he's a bit weak. So this is it for the Einherjar, guys. I didn't want to focus on the lore of these units. I don't really care about talking about the strategy because you probably know that, like, it's not a new game. Age of Mythology is not a new game. We're not like discovering the units right now, what they do in game. We're just discovering the lore because I think most of you don't know the lore, but they know the strategy. So I'm just gonna focus more on the lore and the history of the god, alright? So the god and the myth unit itself. Just focus on this part. And the strategy, I'm just gonna talk a bit about it because probably like 20% of you don't know the strategy of the units. I don't know, guys, exactly. You tell me in the comments down below. Tell me what you know, what you don't know about these units. Alright, and this is it. We're gonna start next by talking about, I guess, probably Caladria. I don't know, guys, you tell me too. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you subscribe, you like. Make sure you join me. Alright, I have a join button. Just click on it and check my tiers. Go ahead, maybe you're gonna become a hero like Einherjar, and I personally gonna get you to Asgard if you become a hero. But of course, I don't wish you anything bad, okay? Because Valkyries, they bring dead heroes to Asgard. So just become a hero, but stay alive. You're gonna stay alive if you just follow through my channel. Alright, if you stay subscribed, you're gonna stay alive. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.